going to talk about blade sharpening. But the first thing you need to understand, it doesn't matter whether you are a professional barber and you have $300 clippers, $250 clippers, $150 clippers, professional clippers, or $20 Walmart clippers. Guess what? These blades all sharpen the same. Now, the first thing you have to know when sharpening the blade, you have to understand what you're doing. And this is a blade machine, and you need to understand blade machine theory. Number one, you do not need this machine. This machine costs $1,600 to $1,800. But I'm going to show you how to get the same effect by using sandpaper. So first thing you need to know, the wheel constantly go clockwise in a circle. We as professional blade sharpeners take a blade, we put it in our hands, and if you look at the red arrow, that's the direction we go. Backwards and forward, backwards and forward. However, what's really happening to the blade is when you see the blue arrows. The wheel is constantly moving clockwise. The blue arrows is what the effect of the blade on the metal to metal, and we're going backwards and forwards. So essentially what's really happening is it's as if this blade is right here and we're just dragging it this way and the wheel is coming that way and we're dragging it this way. That is basic blade machine theory. So now we are actually going to go to the actual blade machine. This is the blade machine. You would take a magnet and you would take a basic blade. I'll just grab one right here. And you put it on the magnet, and the wheel is constantly spinning like this. And we are going like this, backwards and forward. And the wheel is going this way. So essentially all it is this blade is constantly dragging like this. So what do? We take 150 grit sandpaper, 220 grit sandpaper, and you place it on any flat surface that you can find at home, but make sure it's completely flat. When you get it on that surface, you put the 150 up front, the 220 in the back, and you do whatever you gotta do to tape it down. Once you get it taped down, your job is to get yourself some type of a magnet. Get it on there. Now what you're going to do is place the blade flat. It has to be flat, and you want to create the same effect as if the blade is dragging like this, backwards. So you're going to get on the 150 and you're going to drag. Clean, flat, 3 to 5 pounds of pressure back. Clean, even, as if you're on a machine. Then you're going to buff it out on the 220. And make sure whatever you do on the 220 is double what you do here. If you do 10 strokes here, you do 20 strokes here. Now, let's take a look at what the blade should look like. We're going to zoom in right now with the camera for the purpose of showing you what you will see. This is a grimy blade, crusty and busty, and you can see the wear lines of where it's dulled out. Now, we're going to go through the blade sharpening process. We're going to take that busted, crusty blade, drop it on the 150. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's zoom in and check out what it looked like now. That's only 5 strokes. Let's do 5 more. 1, 2, make sure you flat, even 3 to 5 pounds of pressure and straight. No shaking, no twisting, no backwards and forwards. Now what we got? We're going to zoom in. Now we're going to buff it out on a 220. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. And make sure you flat down, slide back, stop, pick up. Now, look what we got. Focus on the back bar, the front bar. You should have a clean shine. We're going to zoom in so you can see the clean shine. That's the clean shine you're going to get no matter what blade you do. Even if you do a T-outliner blade. Make sure the blade is under the magnet. And then you buff it out. The same effect. Nice and clean. Even if you're doing these big old detachable blades, it's the same concept. Here, here. Even if the little part of the detachable blade drop down flat, slide here, slide here. Even if you're doing the master blade, but this one you won't need the magnet. You just grab the plastic piece, flat, slide back, slide back, slide back, buff out, buff out, buff out. All right, but the final part, that's only 50%. People don't understand. If you look close at this camera, you can see grit powder. You see that little grit powder? If you leave that grit powder there, all it's going to do is tear up your blade when you go to put it back together, and it grind back and forth, and it'll tear your blade up within 2 days. So people don't realize you have to use a cleaning clipper oil, but this is a different type of oil. It's called Blade Boost. What this blade oil does, it boosts clipper performance, keep blades sharper longer, and you bring dull blades back to life. It maintains the blade, but also it gets all the grit and grime off the blade. So you take this blade, spray, get a nice amount on there. Take a brush, brush down into the container. Get it all nice and clean. Then you do a last spray and let it drip off. Now, only use 1 square per blade. Clean your hands real good. Get all the grit off your hands. And then now, take and clean. Look at all that grit on the blade still. Once you get it nice and clean and dry, you make sure your job is to make sure you get every piece of grit off, every piece of oil off on front and back. And you should have a nice, dry, clean blade. Nice and dry. No oil, no grit. And that's pretty much how you clean all these blades. Now, if you have any questions, just message me. I'll help you out through the process. But keep in mind that you need to understand that this whole process can be done with all the blades you have, no matter how expensive or how cheap the blades are. So now we're going to conclude with a little bit of music. Caleb on bass, my youngest son, and my youngest daughter, Naomi Atkins, Caleb Atkins. Let's finish it out.